Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Riverside. Today we are joined by the mayor of that city. His name is Rusty Bailey, and he just delivered his 4th State of the City address. I congratulate you on that.
Thank you very much.
I also congratulate you on having the largest crowd of any State of the City address in Riverside's history.
39 years.
Yeah, 39 years. More than 1,100 people came to the Riverside Convention Center. What was it, sir, about this year that caused such a large crowd to gather?
There's a lot of energy in Riverside, as you know, and I think part of it was the title, turning opportunity into action. Believe in Riverside, continue the momentum. The momentum in downtown especially is incredible, and so I think people are very excited about the future of Riverside.
And let's talk about the future and look back to help us inform us on the future. We've known each other for quite some time. I have the honor of covering this region for, 8 years, I think it is. When we first met, you were on the city council, and Riverside was struggling a bit. Not as bad as other parts of the greater Inland Empire, but it's hard to deny that the economic recession of the early part of this decade was tough for Riverside. Yet Riverside has bounced back pretty nicely. I don't want to say unscathed, but pretty close.
Yeah, it was slow coming out of the recession, of course, because the housing trades, and that was a big part of our economy and employment base.
Right.
But the competitive advantages we have, as you know, are universities and college.
Right.
All of them are growing.
Right.
You know, we have record numbers at UCR, at California Baptist,
and I actually
RCC opening downtown.
just received a press release that said that UCR received its most applications in history.
Yeah.
Over 50,000 people applied to UCR.
So we've got close to 60,000 college students in our city. We're a college town.
Truly.
Right? And that energy was there last night. I think we had close to 200 students that came by my asking and prompting, and the chamber totally loved that idea. And so there was an incredible amount of energy, and it was forward thinking and visionary and connecting to those strengths that we have in our city, and especially the universities and colleges. The healthcare institutions are thriving right now and growing.
New UCR Medical School.
Yeah.
So let me ask you then, how are you, and I know you kind of hit on it in your State of the City, trying to leverage those college students to build more economic opportunity? Because I'm hearing anecdotally that a lot of business, they have the jobs, they just don't have the candidates to meet their needs.
Yeah.
A lot of technological jobs, you need to know how to code, you need to know how to engage with automation. How are you trying to
We have
that?
the skilled labor, but we have to attract the business leaders here and they're the CEOs, right, that are going to open up an office and employ some of these graduates, and so we have to have the amenities, and so that's why downtown becomes so critical. That's where amenities are. That's where the Fox Theater has now been renovated. Live Nation is running that, as well as Municipal Auditorium.
Right.
So now the amenities are coming. We also have downtown housing developments for the first time in probably 10 years. 400 units in the pipeline, about 200 under construction this year on Main Street University. 100 units, the loft style Imperial Hardware lofts are going to be under construction soon.
What was fascinating to me is that your small business growth is marked. Over 100 small businesses operating and opening every month?
On average a month, that's right.
How is that possible?
There's a lot of freelancers, right? There's a lot of folks that are, looking, they can't find, like you said, a job or tired of commuting. And they said, you know what, I'm going to go on my own and try to open a business here. And they're succeeding because we're continuing to have that month over month over month. So, and they're employing, others in the community, and so it's that virtuous cycle that's occurring. And part of it's, the city can't take credit for it. Businesses create jobs, but we're opening those doors wider, and we're cutting the red tape, and we have entrepreneurs and incubators and co-working spaces now right next door to City Hall. Next time you come visit me, we're going to go over there, and you're going to see they got a ping pong table.
Really?
They got coders and programmers right there with their laptops, sending stuff back and forth to Silicon Valley, and that's happening in downtown Riverside.
At the same time, you have been a very significant advocate of trying to attract international business to this region. And I have to presume that with Ontario International Airport becoming even more international.
Set free.
Yeah, I mean, it's now in local control, and it's right up the street, literally.
Yeah, 15 miles.
Yeah, I have to think that will open opportunities for Riverside. Am I off base, or
no? Not at all. Not at all. We have 9 sister cities, and one of the closest is Ensenada. I've taken a trip down there every year now for the last couple of years to try to open up the doors down there and develop the relationships and business, focused on business first. and arts and the culture, second and third. And we're seeing some serious, successes there. One of them being in the seafood industry. And the seafood industry.
Okay.
We're trying to attract some of the seafood industry to our airport. We have our own airport.
I know that, yes.
At March,
right?
And that's general aviation now. And so we've got some talks, and they've come out and looked at it
to
see if they'll truck their seafood here instead of somewhere else in Southern California.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you.
It's all good. It's all good. You'll come back and tell us about that.
International relations is alive and well. 20th anniversary of our sister city with Jiangmen, China, 40th with Ensenada.
I have to ask you about
year.
Jiangmen, China, because I have spoken with some folks, for example, Kurt Hagman, who's a supervisor in San Bernardino County, which is where Ontario Airport is, even though, Riverside's right here, and his big push is China. And I have to think that there's...
So last time we went with a Chinese company, SolarMax, that opened its doors in, you know about the story, 150 jobs or more now. So last time they introduced us to some friends in China, and SunSpark, a solar panel manufacturing firm in China, is now located in Riverside underneath SolarMax umbrella. 25 jobs, 25 more probably this next year. And that was just because I went on a trip with SolarMax to China, and they heard about Riverside. They said the mayor is excited about international relationships, and now they're here.
So how do you continue to build on that momentum with regard to the Chinese, maybe the Japanese, the sister city Sendai, but I'm sure all of Japan would be fine in terms of coming and opening a business here?
We mine those relationships, and you take advantage of the strengths. We have anniversaries coming up. And so I think that's the story that we tell both sides of, the globe, that we need to take those delegations back and forth and develop those bridges.
I want to ask about Sendai specifically because we all remember the Sendai tragedy, the Sendai earthquake, and Riverside was right there to help its sister city.
That's right.
And so I'm wondering, does that one location kind of touch your heart specifically, and can we really try to get some of those folks over here in terms of business? Because I assume they need a little TLC.
To tell you the truth, they are solid. They are solid.
Good.
I went over there this last June, 2015, my first trip there, but they still are so grateful for close to, I think it was $600,000, $700,000 that we raised just by passing the hat at schools and businesses and at City Hall. And Mayor Leverage took that to them. And
your predecessor.
They rolled out the red carpet for me. I mean, I filled up my suitcase with gifts that they were putting for all sorts of people, that pass out here in Riverside. But they are just so humble and appreciative of the relationship.
Any business opportunities?
It's more on the education front there. We have 150 of students from their university coming to UCR every year. Wow. And that plays, and they're living here for, I think, a couple of months at a time.
Really?
And so
what about the other way?
Economic development, we don't have that yet. We have some professors that have made some research connections there. Our students at the high school level are going to Germany, Erlangen.
That's another sister city.
But we haven't had, RCC has got a connection with China, and they have some students going back and forth there. But we have not that large amount, that amount of students going overseas yet.
Next year, when you're delivering your State of the City, what do you hope to be saying?
Well, I hope to be still the mayor.
Right, yes,
you have a re-election. I have to get through, and the people,
let's presume,
if they want me to be the mayor, then I continue to serve my hometown. And we're looking at an innovation district. It's this new concept, Metropolitan Revolution, Bruce Katz, Brookings Institute. And so I'm commissioning a working group with Ted Wagelin and Jack Clark, who are going to give suggestions to the City Council of where a place-based innovation district that kind of brings together arts and culture and innovation, intermingle.
He'll be back.
Innovation districts.
His
one of the things I like to talk about next time.
Rusty Bailey. He is the mayor of Riverside, running for re-election June 2016. I'm Brad Pomerance in Riverside, Charter Local Edition.